Right. You needed protection, nigga. And your protection gone. That's the truth. That's what the fuck it is.
Miss Jackson, am I overreacting or is it valid? I wanna have a one-on-one convo about the man you sacrificed your life for so the world could see his talent. He's a legend now, I guess it worked out, but I need some answers. Are you happy with the way he been holding your family name? I need to know cause I can't sleep at night thinking you died in vain. I think it got to him. People won't tell him because he pay him.
Look, even for me personally, my character never try to attack my character. Why it feels like I'm the bully out here then.
50 Cent explodes after T.I.'s son visits his mother's gravesite. What started as a typical rap feud just took a turn that nobody saw coming, and now it's spiraling into something much more personal. 50 Cent is making headlines again, but this time it's not over memes or trolling. It's because T.I.'s son, Damani Harris, just dropped a diss video that instantly sent shockwaves across the internet.
I would say, man, I just have questions. I just genuinely have questions. And I'm an understanding individual, and I know the reason people do certain things, it probably stem from how they grew up, how they was raised. Even me, like the stuff that I do and the way that I think, the way that I feel about certain things, it got something to do about how I was raised, my upbringing. So I just be having questions.
And the moment people pressed play, they realized this wasn't just another response track. In the visual for his song Firebug, Damani is seen standing at a grave site, quietly placing flowers. But this isn't just any symbolic scene. Fans quickly connected it to Sabrina Jackson, 50 Cent's late mother, a deeply sensitive part of his life that he's rarely allowed to be played with publicly.
He turns this from a diss track to an empowering mantra to people who've been through the pain that he's saying that Curtis might have, 50 Cent, inflicted on his people. So this nigga different with this, bro.
And that's not where it ends. The video cuts to a luxury home engulfed in flames, an image many believe references the tragic circumstances surrounding 50's childhood loss. Almost like it was designed to hit a nerve, within hours social media explodes. Some viewers call it bold, layered storytelling, arguing that Damani is using imagery to make a deeper point. But others aren't buying that. They're calling it one of the most disrespectful moves in recent rap beef, especially because it brings family and real-life tragedy into the spotlight.
I say this as a fan, bro. You gotta get in the booth, man. This man penned a letter to your mama, bro. As soon as you mentioned their mama, man, they just started spazzing. They just started going crazy. 50, you're gonna have to get in the booth, man. This shit was disrespectful as hell. But it's fire as fuck, bro. You sorry, Miss Jackson, as a sample.
And then come the lyrics. Damani doesn't just rap, he questions everything, from 50's rise to fame to the legacy tied to his name. And one line in particular sends people over the edge, suggesting a scenario where 50 could be reunited with his mother. That's when the conversation shifts from debate to outrage. What makes this even more intense is the timing. This all comes right after 50 had been publicly trolling T.I. and Tiny, posting jokes and memes that many felt crossed their own lines. Now, Damani steps in, not just defending his family, but escalating things in a way no one expected. So now the question isn't who started it. The question is, did this just go too far to come back from? Because once you really break down what Damani said and what he showed, this story gets even heavier. This didn't start with Firebug. The track actually began its life under a different name, Minsmanals Jackson, a title that already had people raising eyebrows due to its direct connection to 50 Cent's mother. From the very first lines, Damani makes it clear this isn't a surface-level diss. He opens by addressing Sabrina Jackson directly, almost like he's speaking through the music to someone who isn't here to respond. It's a creative choice, but also one that instantly makes the record feel personal. As the verse unfolds, Damani reflects on 50's journey, acknowledging his rise to becoming a hip-hop icon, but then flipping the narrative. He questions what that success cost, what was lost along the way, and whether the legacy being built is one worth defending. It's not loud, it's not aggressive in delivery, but that's what makes it hit harder. Then comes the line that changes everything. A bar that suggests sending 50 to be reunited with his mother. Whether meant metaphorically or not, the internet didn't hesitate to react.
We thought it was a joke, but now we see it's something awful him. I offer him a chance to reunite with you, and I'll do it. Nothing left to do, so I just send him to you, Miss Jackson.
For many, that crossed an unspoken boundary, one that even the most heated rap beefs tend to avoid. And then there's the title, Firebug. At face value, it sounds like just another nickname, but listeners quickly connected it to long-discussed rumors and past incidents tied to 50's history. It adds another layer one that turns the song from a diss track into something that feels more like a statement. Visually, the message is reinforced again and again. Nothing in the video feels accidental. Every shot from the gravesite to the fire imagery feels placed with intention. It's storytelling, but it's also confrontation. And that's exactly why the reaction wasn't slow. It was immediate. Because people didn't just hear this track, they felt like they were watching a line being crossed in real time. If the song alone raised eyebrows, the video took things to another level entirely. It opens with cinematic shots that feel almost too calm until the meaning behind them starts to settle in. A large home is shown consumed by flames, burning intensely against the night sky. There's no direct explanation, no caption spelling it out, but viewers immediately begin connecting the dots. Then comes the scene that really got people talking. Domani stands at a gravesite, quietly placing flowers, his expression controlled, almost emotionless. It's not aggressive, it's not loud, and somehow that makes it even more unsettling. Because it doesn't feel like a performance, it feels intentional. The contrast is what makes the video so powerful. The calm delivery, the heavy symbolism, the absence of chaos in a moment that's clearly meant to provoke it. And that's where the internet splits in two. On one side, fans are calling it artistic and layered, praising Domani for approaching a diss in a more thoughtful, almost cinematic way. They argue that hip-hop has always been about pushing boundaries, and this is just evolution.
And it was a subtle sample. Again, 50, I don't know, man. You gotta say something. The memes ain't gonna cut it. You gotta do something, brother. They saying that the Harris family is dissing him in different fonts. They're using different styles.
On the other side, critics aren't interested in the artistry. They see it as a clear violation of respect, bringing a deceased parent into a public feud and using imagery tied to real-life tragedy. For them, it's not creative. It's crossing a line that shouldn't be touched. The debate spreads fast. Blogs pick it up. Reaction videos start dropping. Social media threads rack up thousands of comments in minutes. And suddenly, what might have been just another diss track becomes one of the most talked about moments in hip-hop right now.
With her. And then we have the closer, the finisher. If you ask me, The Undertaker, Domani comes out swinging with the diss. And I want to break down Domani's diss because I just love dissecting the way that he does things. But when I tell you the Harris family ain't playing, they here to stay, this is going to be a family that everybody in the industry know from now on not to play with. Love
and
that.
Through all of it, one question keeps coming up. How is 50 Cent going to respond to this? Because if there's one thing history has shown, he never ignores something like this. It didn't take long for 50 Cent to catch wind of the video, and when he did, he responded exactly how people expected, but also not how they expected. Instead of dropping a direct statement or jumping into a full rant, 50 did what he's mastered over the years. He let the internet do the talking for him. Cryptic posts started appearing, subtle captions. A mix of sarcasm and carefully chosen words that didn't fully explain anything but somehow said everything at the same time. The kind of response where you don't need names because everyone already knows who it's about. And almost instantly, those posts started spreading. Hip-hop blogs picked them up. Fan pages reposted them. Comment sections filled up with people trying to decode what 50 really meant. Some believed he was brushing it off, treating it like just another moment in a long list of online back and forths. But others weren't convinced. Because if there's one thing people know about 50 Cent, it's this: he doesn't forget. And he definitely doesn't ignore anything that feels personal, especially when it involves family. That's why a lot of fans think this version of 50 isn't calm, it's controlled. Like he's choosing not to react fully, at least not yet. And that's what's making people uneasy. Because historically, when 50 goes quiet or starts playing it subtle, it usually means something bigger is coming. Not louder, just more calculated. And now the conversation is shifting. It's no longer about whether he'll respond, it's about how far he's willing to take it when he finally does. Because this moment didn't come out of nowhere. It's the result of something that's been building for a long time. To understand how things got this intense, you have to go back to where it really started long before diss tracks and viral videos. The tension between 50 Cent and T.I. has been simmering for years, and surprisingly, it didn't begin with anything deeply personal. It started with something that, at the time, felt almost harmless, a Versus battle that never happened. T.I. had publicly pushed for it, even calling on others in the industry to help set it up. Fans were interested, the idea made sense, but according to T.I., 50 never fully committed, and eventually, it turned into a talking point. At first, it was competitive, light jabs, subtle comments, but over time, those comments became more direct. Fast forward to early 2026, and T.I. brings it back into the spotlight during an appearance on Shannon Sharpe's podcast. That's where he drops the line that reignites everything, saying 50 didn't want smoke. That moment spreads fast, and if there's one thing 50 Cent is known for, it's responding when his reputation gets questioned.
Okay, so first, it was really about celebrating each other's catalog. Me and that nigga talk back there, bro. This shit, I ain't just called a nigga out the blue. Yeah. Me and that nigga talk back there.
You talking about you with 50?
Yeah, man. We talk about this shit, man. This shit just come out of nowhere.
What follows isn't a diss track, it's something arguably more effective in today's era. Memes, clips, jokes, posts that blur the line between humor and disrespect, the kind of content that doesn't just respond, it keeps the conversation alive every single day. And this is where things start to shift, because it's no longer just 50 versus T.I. It becomes 50 versus the Harris family. Tiny gets pulled into the conversation. Online jokes start circulating. The tone gets sharper, more personal, less about music, more about image and respect. That's when Damani steps in for the first time. Unlike the typical aggressive response, his approach is more measured, more reflective, but the message is clear. He's defending his family's name. And now, with Firebug, that defense has turned into escalation. This isn't just about proving a point anymore, it's about drawing a line. And T.I. himself hasn't exactly stayed on the sidelines either. Through interviews, music, and subtle responses, he's made it clear that he sees what's happening and he's not backing down. So now, what started as a missed Versus battle has turned into something much bigger. A layered conflict involving legacy, family, respect, and now moments that feel impossible to ignore. And if things keep moving in this direction, there's no telling where it stops. While Damani's video is dominating the conversation, T.I. hasn't stayed silent, and his response adds a completely different energy to the situation. Instead of matching the intensity directly, T.I. takes a more controlled route. He releases a track titled Trauma Bonds, and while it doesn't call out names as aggressively, the message is still there if you're paying attention. It's layered, it's intentional.
Yo, hold up. T.I. just dropped something called Trauma Bond. That title already sound deep. Let's see what type of timing he on. Nah, he talking about real relationship scars right here. This ain't Club T.I. This like grown man reflecting T.I. You can tell he's speaking from experience, not just rhyming it. That trauma bond concept, a lot of people stuck in that and don't even realize it. Low key, trauma bonding is when two people connect through pain instead of love. That's dangerous because it feels real.
And it feels like it's speaking to something deeper than just a rap feud. The tone suggests reflection but also quiet defiance, the kind of response that doesn't need to be loud to be understood. And for longtime fans, that approach says a lot. T.I. isn't trying to outshock anyone, he's reinforcing his position. At the same time, the bigger picture becomes clearer. This isn't just about two artists anymore. It's about a family standing together under pressure, from T.I. to Tiny to their sons. The message coming across is unity. No one is stepping back. No one is creating distance, and that alone shifts the dynamic. Because now, anything said or done isn't just aimed at one person, it affects everyone connected to them. Meanwhile, Damani continues to present himself as calm and focused in interviews and appearances. He's not feeding into the chaos publicly, instead framing his actions as creative expression and personal truth. But the reaction around him tells a different story. Criticism is growing louder, support is just as strong, and the divide between those two sides is only getting wider. Some see him as standing up for his family in a bold way. Others feel he stepped into territory that should have been left alone. Either way, the pressure is building, not just on Damani but on everyone involved. Because what used to be a back and forth is now turning into something with real weight behind it, and fans are starting to notice that shift. They're not just watching for entertainment anymore, they're watching to see what happens when things go too far. Hip-hop has always thrived on competition. Rivalries, diss tracks, lyrical battles. It's part of the culture. But even within that world, there have always been lines that most artists don't cross. And one of the biggest unwritten rules, family, especially those who are no longer here, are usually left out of it. That's why this situation feels different, because it doesn't just rely on bars or wordplay. It blends real-life loss, symbolic imagery, and direct references in a way that hits deeper than a typical diss track ever could. For some fans, this is evolution. They argue that hip-hop is about expression, about pushing boundaries, about saying what others won't say. In that view, Damani didn't break the rules, he expanded them. But for others, this isn't innovation, it's escalation. They see it as a shift towards something more uncomfortable, a space where shock value starts to outweigh respect, where the emotional impact becomes more important than the message itself. And that's where the tension really sits, because this isn't just about lyrics anymore. It's about what those lyrics represent. It's about how far someone is willing to go to make a point. And more importantly, what happens after that point is made. With both sides known for standing their ground, there's no clear sign of this slowing down. If anything, each move feels like it's raising the stakes just a little higher. And now the entire culture is watching closely, not just for the next diss, but for the next decision. Because one wrong move from either side could take this somewhere it doesn't need to go. Which brings everything back to one question that nobody can answer yet. Right now, it feels like Damani lit a fuse that's still burning, and nobody knows exactly where it leads. The video has already done what most diss tracks aim to do. It got attention, massive attention. But it also did something else. It changed the tone of the entire situation. 50 Cent, known for turning moments like this into long-term strategy, hasn't fully shown his hand yet. And that's what has people paying attention the most. Because when it comes to him, silence doesn't mean the situation is over. It usually means it's still developing. On the other side, T.I. and his family aren't backing down. If anything, they appear more aligned than ever, standing together and responding in their own way, on their own terms. And that unity adds another layer of complexity, because now, this isn't just a feud, it's a standoff. The kind where every move matters, every response is analyzed, and every moment has the potential to shift everything. The truth is, whether people see the video as art or disrespect almost doesn't matter anymore. The impact is already there. And with emotions, history, and public perception all colliding at once, this situation feels more unpredictable than anything we've seen from either side in a long time. Because at this point, it's not about who started it. It's not even about who's winning. It's about one thing: how far each side is willing to go, and what happens when they get there. Let us know your thoughts in comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like this video to support the channel. Subscribe to Hollyhype TV for the latest updates, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Until next time, peace out.